The Big Dance, a field that starts with 64, where eventually only one team will remain with the title of NCAA champion. We start in the city of brotherly love, where a band of brothers that all bear UConn across their chest are out for redemption. The Huskies enter the NCAA tournament as the 2 seed in the East, coming off a painful conference title game loss to St. John's.
The group is crushed. I mean, we laid an egg.
It's an uncomfortable feeling. Whole 40 minutes I wish I'd done differently.
UConn is looking for its 3rd national title in 4 years, a feat that has not been seen since UCLA's historic run in the 1960s and 70s. And while the madness of March has overtaken Philadelphia, 235 miles northeast, that same hoopla is arriving at Gamble.
That's because the defending national champions have home court advantage in Storrs. The tournament's #1 overall seed, fresh off its record-breaking 12th title, now looks to make number 13 lucky in the last ride for star guard AZ Fudd, who has a chance to rebound from a torn ACL with back-to-back titles.
I would think she sees this as a kind of, I deserve this.
It'll be the Furman Paladins trying to wear the glass slippers and pull a Cinderella and send Dan Hurley and the Huskies home early.
While the UTSA Roadrunners look to prove they're not just a team in destiny's way. Connecticut Game Week starts right now.
Welcome into another special edition of Connecticut Game Week as we get the March Madness train on the tracks. I'm Sean Humphrey, and it wouldn't be Connecticut Game Week without Alexa Harley, who is in Philadelphia following UConn men's basketball's quest for its 3rd title in 4 seasons. Take it away, Alexa.
Yeah, Sean, you and I were in New York last week after UConn's loss to St. John's, and being in that locker room, I mean, you could just feel the absolute gut punch that those guys were feeling. I mean, it was quiet. A lot of them noted that it was uncomfortable. They were upset with how they performed. They knew they had to get better if they wanted to be playing basketball deep into March. Now, flash forward a week later, we're here in Philly. Yesterday, the team was having an open practice. We got to speak with them in the locker room. They were all chipper. They got to watch basketball on a big screen. You know, of course, probably talking about their own bracket. Who knows who they've picked? I'm sure they've picked themselves. But something of note for this first round matchup between Furman and UConn is it's a 10 p.m. tip-off, which is incredibly late for this team. Most tip-offs this year have been in the 7 to 8 range, maybe a couple late tips out in the Midwest or West Coast if they went that far. Not really playing this late into the evening. So of course I had to ask them, have you had to adjust like your practice schedules, team meetings, or your sleep schedules ahead of this round of 64 meeting? Here's what they had to say.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, coach has been pushing practice back this week, making sure that we're up later, making us stay up, whether we have team meetings or later team dinners. So definitely just trying to change your sleep schedule to, stay awake at 10 p.m.
Yeah, no, so we pushed, I think it may have been yesterday or the day before, we pushed practice back a couple hours so that we were ended at like 9:30. I mean, it's still not 10 o'clock, but it kind of just adjusting to the time difference of like how when we need to play. But yeah, we've kind of been doing that the last couple days and just trying to get adjusted to the time. But yeah.
So bad news is a bit of a late tip-off, but good news is this guy, Silas Demery Jr., said that he is good to go tonight, and he says he's feeling ready to get back out there.
I'm going to be able to play tomorrow, so
You are?
yeah, it definitely feels different. I mean, being here, the standard is winning. So now, I wouldn't even say it's pressure. I think it's kind of a privilege to be here and be a part of a team that's won a lot. So now, being able to put this jersey on in March Madness is kind of just joyful for me.
So Silas Demery Jr. says that he's ready to go. A couple of other injury updates from Coach Hurley. He said that Malachi Smith is dealing with something. We'll see what happens, see if he plays tonight on the hardwood. And then he did note that Jalen Stewart, not exactly ready to go for Friday night's game, but they are hoping that he will be available and ready to go on Sunday, of course, if the Huskies are still playing. Now, UConn and Furman, 10 p.m. tip-off tonight in Philadelphia at Xfinity Arena. The winner will advance to the round of 32 and keep dancing. So we'll see what happens. Now stay with us because I will bring you some final thoughts on this matchup and a special surprise, a little fashion item that Dan Hurley was wearing at practice. You're not going to miss it.
Well, it's a time of year the Huskies are familiar with. Our top dog has mastered the madness over the years. The reigning national champion UConn women's basketball team prepares to defend its title and go through the grind of another NCAA tournament. UConn has made the Sweet 16 at least every year there's been a tournament since 1994, and after a dominant, undefeated regular season, you could say it hasn't been hard to get this group to lock in for a big game. Head coach Gino Auriemma says the group's consistency is something he admires, and players like guard KK Arnold say they're just enjoying the ride.
Just super grateful, super excited just for the opportunity just to keep playing. But just also each and every day just getting better, learning from each other, and just taking it one game at a time and just enjoying March Madness.
The fact that we haven't varied that much from November to, the tournament last week. We pretty much stayed at a certain level. No team is going to be perfect, for 4 months, 5 months. But we've been pretty consistent during all that time, and I think our team has great confidence in what we've been able to do.
Later on, we'll do some recon and preview the Huskies' first-round opponent, the 16th seed UTSA Roadrunners.
I'm Kevin Ferry. When it counts, you need a top dog on your side. That's Ferry Law, proud sponsor of Connecticut Game Week's Top Dog.
Still to come here on Connecticut Game Week, it was a season to remember for the women's hockey team. While it came up short against Penn State, there's plenty for the Huskies to be proud of. We'll put a bow on their season. Also ahead, a former Husky competes in the Paralympics. The story of Steve Empt and how he's winning at life when Connecticut Game Week returns. Stick around. Welcome back. Time now for our Best in Show. Connecticut native and UConn grad Steve Empt is a 3-time Paralympian who competed in Italy. Although he did not win a medal this year, he says he is still winning the game of life. Connecticut Game Week's Jalen Anderson caught up with Empt to learn more about his story from UConn to the world stage.
A multi-sport athlete, Steve Empt is a man of two tales that has led him to be one of the most accomplished wheelchair curlers in United States history.
To have the opportunity to represent USA on our own soil, that's going to drive me.
Hebron is his hometown, where he attended Rom High School and was a star playing basketball, baseball, and soccer. He would go to walk on at the University of Connecticut, where Hall of Fame coach Jim Calhoun mentioned how he was an important piece to the team's success. Through all his trials and tribulations, he remains a resilient person. It was back in 1995 when Empt was driving on I-84 northeast of Hartford when he crashed his car. Empt was driving drunk. The next day, his world was turned upside down.
A lot of life lessons throughout my years growing up. I wake up one morning at 25 years old and I was told I was never going to walk again. And it takes a lot. Then this wonderful sport of curling came along, and now I'm sitting, in front of you. I'm sitting in Italy, 3-time Paralympian.
Empt was introduced to curling in 2012, a sport he is now considered as one of the greatest in the country to ever do it. The oldest Paralympian on Team USA, for him these games in Italy mean a little more, as he wanted to make a statement by winning in his wife's home country. Although falling just short in the bronze medal game, like any major athlete, the will to win fuels his competitive spirit.
To have the opportunity to represent USA on our own soil, that's going to drive me. That's going to drive me for sure. We came an inch short of getting a medal and bringing it home to the USA. We're going to grow, we're going to get better, and we're going to come back stronger, and we're going to take on the world in France for sure in 4 years.
Although Empt will return to his current home in Wisconsin, he says his home at heart would never change.
The state of Connecticut is my home.
He will continue practicing curling as his side job while he works to inspire others to avoid making his same mistake.
Curling is something I do. After my crash, I didn't want to be a drunk driver, but I learned from that, and I accepted what I did. And fortunately, I'm still alive to be able to share my story and impact youths young teenagers, young individuals, men, women, it doesn't matter, all around the country.
For now, Steve will take some time away from the sport, reset, and gear up for the next games in 2030. In Hartford, Jalen Anderson, Fox 61.
Continuing our best in show, we've talked all season about the greatness of Sarah Strong and AZ Fudd. Well, this week, they both secured one of their most prestigious accolades yet. The Associated Press named both first-team All-Americans. Strong is a finalist for a number of National Player of the Year awards, including the Wade Trophy, presented annually to the best player in women's college basketball. Now, meanwhile, Fudd is knocking on the door of a 50-40-90 season in her best collegiate campaign yet.
And I think at the end of the day, it doesn't come down to how many goals you've scored or how many points you have, but it just comes down to the fact that we're all having fun and we're all smiling and having a good time and just doing what we love to do every single day, but also cheering each other on in everybody's success.
That was senior forward Megan Woodworth, who played her final game in a Husky uniform this past weekend. Her class is the winningest in program history, a group of trailblazers. This season alone, the Huskies won the Hockey East tournament and picked up the program's first ever NCAA tournament win. One way or another, the road was to end in State College, Pennsylvania, the site of the Frozen Four. And while the road ended before then in a regional final loss to Penn State, perhaps the path this team paved will be remembered more.
So as a coaching staff, 13 years, it was a 3-win team 13 years ago.
It's not 13 years ago anymore, and the Huskies step into uncharted territory, playing the Penn State Nittany Lions on their home ice with a chance to advance to the Frozen Four. But this wasn't the Huskies' night. The Nittany Lions broke the ice in the first period, and the game's first goal was all they would need. A talented roster with 3 Olympians, including Team USA's gold medalist Tessa Janicki, secured a 3-0 shutout win. But for Huskies head coach Chris McKenzie, the story of the night was the program's progress as it looks toward the future.
2 years ago, we win our conference. We go to the NCAA tournament for the first time. Last year, we win a regular season title. Kind of us in Northeastern in our conference just battling, out constantly. And this year we took another step, winning a game in the NCAA tournament. I mean, for that, it's a steady climb. We're just slowly. So really proud of the seniors that are graduating now. I know they don't feel good right now, but they left our program. They're the winningest class in our program's history. So they're leaving in a great spot, and we'll be hungry for more. And I think we have what it takes to advance here in the NCAA tournament and keep going.
28-9-2 is the final record for the Huskies. Those 28 wins are the most in program history.
Still to come on Connecticut Game Week, we'll do some recon and find out more about the defending champs' first NCAA tournament opponent, the AAC champion UTSA Roadrunners. Also ahead, the UConn men's hockey team is playing for a chance at a conference title, but the Huskies are also fighting to keep their season alive. We'll hear from head coach Mike Cavanaugh. More Connecticut Game Week next. Welcome back, and time for some recon. UConn women's basketball is the NCAA tournament's #1 overall seed. They've secured a matchup with the University of Texas at San Antonio. We welcome in Vinny Vincetta, a sports reporter with our sister station, San Antonio's own KENS 5. Vinny, last year the Roadrunners finished 26-5 and won the regular season AAC title. This year, a UTSA team that was below 500 after the regular season has clinched its first tournament berth since 2009. So how would you compare the past 2 seasons for this team?
Yeah, Sean, it's great to be with you. They have dealt with some injuries and just honestly some play that hasn't met their standards over the course of the regular season. So we didn't do a ton on them as compared to last year. The Spurs here in the city are such a hot story right now. The men's program at UTSA went 5-25, and Coach Aston's program wasn't having a great regular season. So we went to games and covered games here and there, but haven't done a lot. And then suddenly they hit this hot streak in the conference tournament. And as they like to say in March, they've gotten hot at the right time. Suddenly have won 5 straight. I think they've notched it up their ratcheted up their defense a little bit here in this stretch where they've won 5 straight, 4 in 4 days at the AAC conference tourney. So if they have anything right now, they have belief that they can play and play well, and I think their defense has been impressive here in the last 2 weeks. So suddenly they're showing a life that they really didn't show a whole lot of over the course of their regular season.
And Vinny, UTSA has been pretty successful over the past few seasons under its current head coach. Solid record in 2025 despite missing the tournament. So far, how would you describe Karen Aston as UTSA's head coach?
Just some flavor of a coach that is well seasoned and has done it a long time and has instituted her own culture on the program. Last year, had they had a better run in the conference tournament, after their whatever it was, 26, 27, and 4 regular season, they probably would have been an NCAA tournament team, but they lost in the first round to, I think, ironically, Rice last year. And they rolled into this season with knowing that there were some holes to fill with Jordan Jenkins, the transfer, with her moving on to other things, and Sydney Love transferring out of the program. So there were some spots to fill. So I think it was expected there might be a little bit of a step back, and there obviously was, but all of her players buy into her. Like she's a hard-nosed coach. Like she'll never be afraid to tell them what they need to hear. And I think if a tongue lashing is in order for her team and they need to hear it, she's going to let them hear it. But she's kind of like Kelvin Sampson, in my opinion. Like she's gonna coach you hard. She's gonna love you even harder, but she's gonna coach you hard because she believes that you have potential in her program to be great and do good things.
And Vinny, short one for you. How would you describe the matchup with UConn in just 3 words?
Let's see. This might be a few more than 3, but be in it at the 8-minute timeout. I think the Birds have got to be in this thing early to have any shot at all. And just because nobody believes that UTSA has any shot at all to pull an upset, if they did, and I don't think I'm being melodramatic here, if UTSA was to pull a stunner, it would be, in my opinion, in the top 5 of the greatest upsets in North American sports history. Right there with Villanova over Georgetown, NC State over Houston, the Giants ruining the Patriots' bid for a perfect season, Buster Douglas over Mike Tyson. Of course, Russia USA hockey is on its own shelf. That one sits by itself. But it would be one of the great upsets in this country in sports of all time. It's not going to happen. I think everybody understands that. But if it did, it would be something just unbelievable. And I'm going to eat my words if it does happen, since I just said it's not going to happen. So we'll see.
UConn UTSA Saturday's tip-off is at 3 p.m. And Vinny, thank you so much for your time. When we come back, March Madness is upon us. What you need to know about the defending champs and the second-seeded men's team when Connecticut Game Week returns. It'll be a busy week in UConn sports as the Huskies cross state lines and try to write history. Here's what's in stores. The men's hockey season continues Friday night as the Huskies take on Boston College in the Hockey East semifinals at TD Garden. Last week, the Huskies scored 3 times in the third period in front of a sold-out crowd at Toscano, defeating Boston University 5-3. UConn is 10-3-3 on the road this season, so playing in Boston might help their chances. Add to that, the Huskies are not expected to make the NCAA tournament without winning their conference. Head coach Mike Cavanaugh spoke about his team playing for its playoff life.
We were in the same position last week, so that we knew that if we didn't win last week, we were out. So, yeah, I think it makes it a little more exciting. The tournament, it makes it a little more exciting because not only is the Lamarillo Trophy on the line, but a bid to the national tournament comes with it.
And the baseball team is headed to California this weekend. The Huskies face San Diego State on Saturday and then have an interesting doubleheader on Sunday. Game 1 is against the Aztecs, and then Game 2 is against San Jose State. All 3 games will be played in San Jose. UConn's next home game is on Wednesday against Quinnipiac. And UConn softball heads to the natural state. UConn travels to Arkansas for a 3-game series. The 2 schools have only met once before, back in 2017. The Huskies return home on Tuesday with a doubleheader against the University of New Haven. UConn is 3-2 in its last 5. And last but certainly not least, March Madness is finally here in the women's bracket. The undefeated national champs tip off Saturday against UTSA. I'll be there with full post-game reaction. The Huskies are looking for a lucky 13th national title. Meanwhile, the men begin tournament play against Furman. It's just the second time the 2 schools have met. It's the Huskies' 6th consecutive trip to the Big Dance, a program record. With more, here's Alexa Harley from Philly.
Yeah, well, Coach Hurley said it best yesterday, that he knows that this team knows that they've got to get this done with their defense. He also said that this team is armed with plenty of standout shooters, all of which he thinks are due for a hot night on the hardwood. Of course, we'll see if that happens later on this evening. Now, something else I want to show you is these are Dan Hurley's socks that he was wearing at open practice on Thursday. And yes, that is the March Madness bracket printed on some blue fabric. You know what they say, keep the things that are most important to you close to your heart. Well, I guess close to your ankles must also be the saying, 'cause that's where he was sporting them. I don't know if this is a part of his superstition apparel routine that he's got knocked down, but we'll see if he continues to wear them if UConn advances throughout this tournament. Now, if UConn does get past Furman this evening, they will play the winner of the UCLA-UCF round of 64 game. Those 2 teams will then, of course, meet on Sunday in the round of 32. We'll wait and see what happens on the hardwood here tonight in Philly.
We'll continue following the Huskies as both tournaments continue. And who knows, you may see my cowboy boots come out next Friday. For Alexa Harley, I'm Sean Humphrey. We'll see you next week with another edition of Connecticut Game Week.
One last time, I can't believe you do a UConn chance. So UConn,